Bloomberg Bay State Business celebrates Black History Month.
Well, it seems almost every business has its own promotional podcast these days, not to mention every celebrity. There was news today that Tom Brady's media company has shut down its podcast division. The company found success producing documentaries, but is reportedly giving up on podcasts. You know, as a consumer, it can be really difficult to decide what to listen to, as many blur the line between personal and professional. Right now, Spotify claims to have 4.7 million podcasts on its platform, while Apple has 2.5 million. Bloomberg's Ann Mostu has been doing some reporting on the local business of podcasts, and she joins us right now in our Boston studio. Ann.
Yes, Tom, Joe, and Kim, podcasts can be big business, and I recently noticed this in two different ways. I've been an avid listener of one produced in Cambridge called Justice, which has thousands of other listeners. The hosts are two attorneys, Tashira Halyard and Margot Lindauer, and it's really taken off both on iTunes and YouTube. And separately, I was noticing the business opportunity of podcasts when I was reporting on the new uses of retail space at Faneuil Hall and Quincy Market.
This used to be an American Eagle.
It says fitting rooms. So you kept the fitting rooms.
We kept the fitting rooms, and as I say, we're about 90% there in terms of what we want to do. We turned this fitting room into a podcast studio. So this is a podcast studio, and then that's what we'll look at for these other fitting rooms. We're getting a lot of interest in individual recording studios.
That's Norm Lavalette, who has renovated retail space to create a business called the Asylum Collab. You can rent podcast studio space for about $40 an hour. And across the river in Cambridge is the Video Garage.
Welcome to Justice, a podcast by two close friends all about self-care, wellness, and social justice at a big age. My name is Tashira Halyard.
And I'm Margot Lindauer. We're here.
The Justice podcast is spelled Just Us, and is professionally produced and filmed in studio space in Cambridge. Halyard and Lindauer met in D.C. many years ago. They were both law students, and after many years of practicing law, made this career shift. They agreed to speak with me at home after they had recently recorded an episode.
This was an evolving conversation that we'd had for many, many years.
Very true. We talked about the different iterations and what this would look like. And I should say that I became a solopreneur before Margot.
Way before.
And I think that once we had the time to really devote ourselves to this, it was go time, all hands on deck.
When we were practicing and when you were doing your policy stuff, we could have done something specifically about social advocacy within the law. And that felt boring. And there was a while where we wanted to talk, I remember, about progressive prosecution.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't feel sustaining enough. And so we were batting around ideas for a really long time.
And I think go time happened for us because I am a third-generation breast cancer survivor. Margot was also touched by breast cancer. And after that, we just decided we're going to live life on our own terms. We're going to work together and make this dream come to fruition. But most importantly, also, there were lessons learned through the breast cancer journey for both of us that we wanted to be able to share with an audience about what it means to be well and healthy and whole at a big age.
That big age being 40.
But what we did was start these conversations in a public platform, which was Tashira's Instagram account. We wanted to see how it landed, and it landed really well.
And people loved it.
Right. I think the first two had like 12,000 views each.
Yeah, they had a lot of views, and people were asking for more, which we felt really happy about because, as you know, in social media, people's attention spans are very fickle. But they would stay all the way through with us for 45 minutes to an hour all the time, which is about the limit.
Right. And sometimes we got kicked off because of the limit.
So good signs, and social media really is important to a podcast success. Tashira already had 70,000 followers on Instagram.
So I know how important social media is to podcasting. And I mean, in our case, it is part of our origin story. So I would say vital. It was a place where we really beta tested this idea. And for me, I actually have had a social media platform and a blog and all those things for a long time, been a content creator for over a decade. But I felt like this part of who I am was getting lost. Mm-hmm. And so these lunchtime chats and subsequently the podcast just allowed for me to get deeper in all aspects of my personality and my interests, and especially my social justice orientation. And I think for Margot, the same. It just expanded the work that you were already doing.
I think for me, it's kind of the opposite. One, we have to be totally transparent and honest about the success that we've experienced already is in no small part due to your social media following. I brought a different community and a different following that has shown different interests and different engagement, but certainly not the numbers that Tashira brought to the table. We started our social media presence before we launched, which was really helpful, getting people excited. The other thing that was important to Tashira and myself was that we wanted to do it really well. And we wanted really high quality audio and visual. And I believe that one of the reasons there are lots of reasons that we've shown some very positive success early on, but the quality, we're not on our couch in our own home recording, which is fine.
Absolutely.
But we are dedicated to a really high quality audio and visual.
One thing that I didn't realize is that there is actually a different audience for the video cast and the podcast.
Yes.
Right? And I think that that's something that's fairly new, and that for us as geriatric millennials, we're wrapping our head around. I mean, I've had a YouTube audience for the past few years, but I didn't realize how many people actually go to YouTube to watch podcasts, which are, of course, called video casts. And so for us, while there is some overlap, what we're really doing is hitting two different markets, those who are only going to watch it on video and those who are only going to listen.
So how do you monetize?
There's so many ways to monetize any type of online brand. And I've been in this space and thinking about this for a very long time. And what we have found, obviously, is sponsors.
Right. So sponsors are our primary way of monetization. We also now have a like to know it. Basically, we link our outfits to this website, and if people order those specific pieces, we get a cut.
Affiliate marketing.
Marketing.
Absolutely. So we use affiliate linking there. Also, because we do have a video component and those videos are on YouTube as well as Apple, YouTube is also a self-monetizing platform because it shows people ads. And so we get a bit of AdSense after we have X amount of views and X amount of YouTube subscribers.
Yeah. And then the other source of revenue thus far is live events. We had a live event to launch the podcast at Wine Press in Brookline, where we sold tickets. A similar event, but bigger in DC. We're going to create some form of paid community, which is subscription only, where folks are going to get more content. So that's going to be an extra episode that is not publicly available. Opportunities to engage around the topics that we introduce. And then, of course, we're starting to sell swag.
Swag as well. And we find that people, at the end of the day, just want community. And so once you have the brand, once you have the platform, it's very easy to kind of grow tentacles and to stretch out into different opportunities for monetization. I mean, we're still very early. We just started filming season 2, but I think for a brand new podcast, we've had a lot of success with monetization thus far.
I think so, too. I mean, we have more than broken even, which is pretty outstanding given the high cost of production.
Absolutely. And it's trial and error to some degree. But there also is, I think, a template for the online entrepreneur, for the solopreneur, for the digital content creator, which seems fairly new, but it's not, right? And so this is a whole new, I think, area of our economy and a whole new area of business for the two of us, at least, that has a lot of growth potential that we're very, very excited about.
Again, that's Tashira Hilliard and Margot Lindauer, two attorneys. Their podcast is called Justice. It's produced in Cambridge. It's actually a great listen. And of course, there's the Bloomberg Bay State Business Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And, I can't get over how crowded this